Right, okay, so I think we're live.
Hello,
Guys, let us
everyone.
know. Give us a shout when you can see us and you can hear us and everything's hunky dory, and we'll get going.
Hunky dory.
Do you know that expression?
Oh, yeah, I've heard it before. I
Right, hang on, mine's a
kind
bit
of
of
like it.
kicking.
I might use that one.
Right, hi everyone. Hi everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for popping in.
Hello,
Um,
everyone.
Very excited to see you all. As you can see, I've got a special surprise guest here with me. So everyone say hello to Justin. Hi
Hi,
Justin.
everyone.
Thank you very much for being here with me. How are you
Of
doing?
course, I'm doing well. Thank you. I
Good.
was running around a little bit today. I went to the library, got a whole bunch of books for my local library on order. It's great. You just kind of look up titles and you can order them from home and go pick them up. And they're free. So
Excellent. That's good. Um, right, okay, guys. I've currently got YouTube going on the other screen, and I can see us both in a time lapse, and it's really, really off-putting. So I'm going to try and get into the different stuff that I want to be in. Now, the first thing I guess I wanted to say, um, I am not in. Well, Justin's the same. Justin and I are not bisexual. Okay. We're here because of Bisexual Visibility Day, which was yesterday, and therefore we're in Bisexual Visibility Week. We're not bisexual, so almost to a degree, our opinions in this don't matter. So we're not here to preach or give opinions or anything like that. What we're here to do is really to get a conversation going and to raise awareness. That's the main thing that I want to achieve here. Yeah, I know, Simon feeling cheated there. Um,
hi, Simon.
So I think the reason that I want to do this is because I think issues of biphobia and bi-erasure, they're quite commonly overlooked. They're seen as maybe being a bit of a side issue, and I really want to kind of highlight that that's not the case. Hence us being here. Okay. Now, whilst Justin and I aren't bisexual, there are members of our community who are. Okay. Now, our beloved Kelly Bear um, identifies herself as bisexual. And a year ago today, Kelly Bear did a video that basically went into all of this from her own point of view. She told her own story. She opened up her heart to everyone, basically to highlight these issues. Okay, so I would encourage. I'm going to try and paste a link to Kelly Bear's channel just in general. I would encourage everyone to find that video and have a look at it because it is definitely worth a watch. Okay. Um, so I want to kind of first of all cover just what the kind of umbrella term. Some people use bisexual as an umbrella term or bi as an umbrella term. Some people say bi plus. Okay, and basically what we mean by that is to cover a number of different identities within the LGBTQIA plus community. We've got bisexual, obviously, we've got pansexual, we've all heard of that. Omnisexual, that's not one that I was so familiar with. And a lot of people in the bi umbrella identify as queer. And there's probably other identities as well. I don't want to start getting into detail of what these are, and because to me, someone can identify themselves however they want, and it's not my business. Okay, people are free to identify themselves however they want to do so. Okay, but I just really wanted to kind of explain that we're using bi or bi plus as an umbrella term. It's really, I mean, these are issues faced by everyone under this umbrella. So when we say bi, we mean all of these people. Um, so I guess the first thing that I wanted to do, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to post another link. I wanted to talk a tiny bit of stats, and I know that might be a bit boring, but there's a reason why I wanted to do that. Like I'd said, I think that the issues faced by people are quite often overlooked. They're kind of in the back of the mind, of the kind of greater LGBTQIA plus, issues faced by all of us. There's almost this kind of idea that, bi people can just kind of almost blend in with the kind of straight crowd, so they're fine. And I really want to hammer home that that is not the case. Now, there aren't what I'm using, the stats that I'm using, because I've looked at a couple of things, and the stats aren't always consistent. But Stonewall have done a survey. They've surveyed 5,000 LGBT people in Britain across England, Scotland, and Wales, and they've come up with these statistics. So what I'm going to do, for anyone who's interested, is I'm actually going to paste a link in the chat to where you can get access to this. They've called it the Bi Report, to this survey. And again, I would encourage you to have a quick look at it. Now, like I say, I'm only going to kind of cover bits and bobs from the report, but the reason behind it is because I want to hammer home that this is a big issue, and it's just as important to be a bi ally as what it is to be an LGBT ally. Okay, so I'm conscious I'm talking and talking and talking, and the first thing I think I said was I don't want to just talk at you. So let's just take a minute to chill out and say hi to the people that are in the chat. Now, Justin, have you managed to get your chat, or?
Unfortunately, it's not coming up on my tablet, so I'm going to have to rely on you.
That's okay. That's okay. So let's go through everyone and say hello. So we've got Simon here. Hi, Simon. We've got
Hello,
the
Simon.
lovely Sandra.
Sandra.
We've got some handsome guy called Elemental Cartomancer. I don't know what he's doing here.
Hey now.
We've got Jackie Jacaranda. Let's see. Robin's popped in. Hi, Robin. How you doing? We have... Oh, the lovely Sophie. Hi, Sophie. How are you?
Hi, Sophie.
Jax from Tarot Tales. Hi, Jax. It's lovely to see you. We've got Sarah from Waterchild Tarot. We have our lovely Elle. We have got... Who else have we got? I think that is everyone who's here at the moment. Oh, Becca. Becca's just popped in. Just seen Becca's name. Hi, Becca. How are you? Okay. So it's lovely to see you all here. Anyone who I've not said hello to,
right. Hello again,
hello
everyone.
And welcome.
Get my wire swinging there.
I know. You nearly flung us all up into the air there, Justin.
I always have to be so dramatic, you know?
Well, one of us needs to, because I'm certainly nothing dramatic about me. Right, okay. So the stats, and I'll try and go through this reasonably quickly so that we're not getting bogged down in the kind of stats stuff. So like I say, Stonewall had interviewed 5,000 people from the LGBT community across Scotland, England and Wales. About a third of those people identified themselves as bisexual. Okay. Now, let me just find the page that I want to be on, because I am on the Stonewall Riot. Stonewall Riot? I'm not in the Stonewall Riots.
Not unless you have a time machine.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to compare figures between gay and lesbian people and bisexual people. And I'm doing that not to in any way diminish or demean the issues faced by gay and lesbian people. Obviously, I'm not doing that. I'm a gay man. Justin, you are too. That's right. Yeah.
I think so.
So far. So this isn't intended to demean the issues faced by the gay and lesbian community. What I'm trying to do is highlight that the issues faced by bi people are just as, it's just as important that we look at them. It's just as important to be a bi ally as it is to be an LGT ally. So looking at, so from that survey, 74% of gay and lesbian people said that they were out to all of their friends. Only 36% of bi people said the same. 63% of gay and lesbian people said that they're out to all their family. Only 20% of bi people said the same, that they were out to all their family. And 44% gay and lesbian people out to their, everyone at university, versus only 23% of bi people out at uni. I just want to catch the right stuff that I'm wanting to cover here. Okay, so of all the people that were interviewed, 41% gay and lesbian people said, so at work, 41% gay and lesbian people said they would feel confident reporting being a victim of bullying or harassment. Only 28% of bi people said the same. And 57% gay and lesbian staff out to all of their workmates versus only 22% bisexual people who are out to everyone at work. Let's see, is there anything else here that I want to cover? I think that we'll leave it at that. There are other kind of areas covered. Like I say, I would encourage you all to have a look at the report for yourselves and read up on the kind of the stats. It's a really interesting report. It's also got some information on how to be a good bi ally, which we might kind of discuss a wee bit at some point. But it's basically just to highlight, how much of an actual issue it is that are faced by people. So, I mean, what do you think about those figures? Did they surprise you, Justin?
No, not at all. I think that no, because I think that the discrepancy with the numbers, specifically with the bisexuals being less likely to come out and tell their friends, that's a complex stat. I mean, that's a nice fact to have, but there's going to be various different reasons of why those individuals don't tell people. I think one big one is that it's not always easy to be gay in every situation, or bisexual for that matter. But I think people have a tendency to classify you as gay, especially men, straight men. It's like, well, there was an old saying, and it's a vulgar saying, so I won't repeat it, but it's like you either are gay or you're not, kind of thing. Like, in other words, the mentality of like sort of, and obviously things have improved, it's gotten a lot better, but the mentality among like the macho kind of culture is that, if you sleep with a guy, you're gay. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how many women you slept with. So I think that that's probably a reason. They don't want to be classified as gay. They don't want to be labeled. A lot of it has to do probably with their families, right? Religious families are really, really hard. I mean, I had that experience myself, so I know. And it's not something that, in most cases will benefit you, to be, I'm bisexual or gay, whatever. So, and it could be terrifying for those people. And, some of them may just have a whole different plan for themselves that they just don't want to be put into a box, or a label.
Yeah.
Which is sort of how I was early on. I think, when I was still dating girls back in college and all, I thought of myself as, well, I like guys, but, I'm just not going to define who I am. I want to have family and kids and, do what I'm supposed to do. But obviously it took me a while to figure that one out. But, and I did, and I'm happy. I've been with my partner for 13 years. Happy enough,
Yep.
And I'm very happy with him, but it's hard to say you're happy in general for anything, right? Because life is not happiness; it's struggles and things like that. But
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me, no, Chris. That does not.
Okay. I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me that in general people feel the need to hide their identity, to hide aspects of themselves. What maybe did shock me a wee bit was the stark difference between the lesbian and gay community and the bi community. The fact that a lot less people in the bi community are, out and they feel able to kind of identify themselves freely. I think that was more what did it for me. It's not the fact that in general people feel the need to hide themselves. It's the difference between the two dynamics that kind of shocked me a wee bit, and it really kind of hammers home, like, and I mean one of the kind of next thing that I wanted to open up some conversation about was, common prejudices, like common biases that we hear about bi people. So get people in the chat, let's get some conversation going about that. What kind of stuff have you heard? What are the common prejudices that you've heard? But I've lost my train of thought now. I can't remember what I was saying to you and why I said that. It'll come back to me. So anyway, yeah.
Sorry, I can't help you.
No, you're fine.
I was like, maybe I can help you, but then I was like, oh no, can't
remember. Simon's saying comments above Chris, so let's see. So sexuality is not performative regardless. Does not matter who you have had or not had intimacy with in the past, now or future. So that was Sarah. Let's see. So Simon says he's not surprised at all. Wasn't out when married or in relationships with women. We've got Robin said there's a difference between sexual identity and gender identity. Absolutely.
Sure.
And another thing that there's a difference between is, or there can be a difference between, is sexual attraction and romantic attraction. Some people, and this is just a random fact that I found out. Some people that identify under the bi umbrella, they can have sexual attractions to different genders than what they do to than what they do romantic attractions. So it can be kind of quite complex in that way. Now let's see, have I missed any comments? If I'm missing comments, guys, then all caps at Elemental Cartomancy, just so that it highlights in orange for me. I do have the YouTube chat list here, so that I can see. Yeah. Jackie says labels and boxes should be ditched. Being bi isn't, so this is one of the kind of common prejudices that we hear. Being bi isn't real. It's just used by folks who are too scared to fully come out. Yep, absolutely. I think that is like kind of one of the main ones that we hear, isn't it? That it's like, it's a phase, or, it's a pit stop on the way to being gay, or, or straight. Yeah, it's a common one that's faced by bi people. I don't, from my point of view, I can't say, I can't tell the story from my point of view. But it is one of the things that Kelly Bear talks about on her video that she did. Simon, I can go onto this on StreamYard and actually kind of put the comments up. So let's see. So Simon said, when my marriage ended, and I dated a guy, I had comments like, why couldn't you just carry on with women and stuff, like make up your mind, or you want your cake and eat it. Yeah.
I still have people say that to me. Like,
yeah,
I still have some people in my life that still don't believe that I'm gay. Yeah. And I've been with my partner for 13 years. You know what I mean? 13. It's a long time for
So did you
anybody.
tell these people that
No,
Stephen's going to get a big
they're
shock
just
when he finds out that you're not really gay?
it's like some people are they don't realize they're too stuck in their ways, they're too old fashioned, and it's like you have to make a decision. It's like I can't be one of those people. I'm like, oh, I got to cut all these people out of my life. It's like I love a lot of these people, and some of them are just not. They're never going to be like politically correct or up with the times, because they're dinosaurs. They're from another era, a lot of them, my parents' generation and so forth. So it's like you hear a lot of these kind of comments, but it's like they don't mean anything wrong by it. It's just the way they think. But I've had people, I always get, well, you don't act gay, you don't look gay, those things. I'm like, well, what does a gay person look like? I've always said that, like like the stereotype of what gay is what people will go by, because I'm a little on the masculine side. I'm like big scruffy bear. I guess they just didn't see it, but I think that's just a bad statement to go by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they don't realize that that's something rude to say. You always get that. You always get people saying things like, or which one's the, I love that, like when you go somewhere and they're like, oh, well, which one's the man and which one's the woman, that one. Oh, I hate that question.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
neither of us are either. We're both men, and that's the whole point. Like,
Yeah. I think people often use they use an excuse, and I know this is something faced by all members of the LGBTQ plus community. They'll ask intrusive questions. I think people have got to realize there's a difference between being shown a respectful interest in someone as a person, and them, and it's almost like putting the onus on you to educate them, to to bring them up to speed on these issues,
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, in particular, members of the trans community must, they must really suffer really bad with that.
Oh, big time. Of course. For sure.
So yeah, Elle said there, just being greedy. Let's see, what else have we got? Yep. Okay, just a phase. Doing it to be different, doing it for attention.
Definitely.
Sarah says, for some people, bi is a legitimate transitional sexual identity, but it's not that way for everyone. Yes, that is the key. That is that you've hit the nail on the head there, because there are some people who, when they're discovering themselves, they might identify as one or more of the LGBTQIA plus, letters. After a year, they might identify something different. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people, when they're, discovering their sexual identity, they might at one point identify as bi. They might then identify as straight or gay or, whatever. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People are free to do that.
It's like,
but that doesn't mean that everyone is. That doesn't mean that bi is always just a stopping, a pit stop.
Yeah.
You
wonder, like how necessary, like, the ultimate goal, I feel like in a perfect society, we wouldn't really need these kind of classifications. These classifications were imposed on us from society as a whole. The perfect society would be, that's just a person who loves a man, or that's a person who loves a woman, or that's a person who falls in love with a man or a woman. And I feel like that's actually the state of nature. Like, I feel like that's just how we are in nature, without all the, like socially constructed realities that we face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, but in the same sense, we need sort of group identity for our rights. So it's like a fine line. It's like you don't want to go overboard with the group identity, but again, you don't want to, like, you want to have a presence in case you need it. Obviously, Stonewall, 1969 was a perfect example of needing group support. AIDS.
Yep.
AIDS was a big thing. I mean, they were just letting people die. I mean, the government did nothing for years, and it was because of pressure from it was because of what do you call it, like organizing people and getting influential people with money to support this and that. But ultimately, you want to have a society where it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we're getting close. I mean, we should also mention how far things have come, and how great
Definitely,
things
yeah.
are. I mean, like, I have no problems. We live in a very conservative area, with a lot of conservative types out here, and I mean, we've never had one single issue ever in 13 years. So everybody's really nice. Our neighbors are great. It's really good.
Cool. So, Jonathan, I had a guy friend who used to hang out with lesbians, but when one of the women and he became a couple, the lesbians ostracized them because of the relationship. Suddenly, she wasn't gay anymore.
Yes, John. I know, Jonathan. I've seen that. I've actually seen that with a friend of mine who's now married with a kid, with a girl who I played softball with in a gay league, and all the gay men turned on him, and I was so. That was such a level of hypocrisy to me. I was so angered by that because they were hurt in some way. They thought they were looking, but it was more or less like it was almost like a sports team mentality. Like, oh, you're on the other team. You know what I mean? It's like it's like his happiness is what's important. You know what I mean? No, that's a good point, Jonathan. Definitely.
Jax, I feel there are so many terms under the umbrella, and that I and many others may be unaware. Sorry, you can tell I'm not very good at reading things out. I was always rubbish at this in school. So I feel that there are so many terms under the umbrella that I, many others, may be unaware of. I worry about offending someone through my own ignorance, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's not just an issue faced by any one kind of group of people. I think we all kind of have to tread that, have to deal with that, have to negotiate that line sometimes. I mean, you said, Justin, like that. Ideally, we want to live in a world where you don't need labels, where everyone's just their own individual person. I agree with that. I think that I don't think it's right to enforce labels on people. I think that's where the issue comes from. It's when society needs to put you in a box, needs to put a label on you, when perhaps you actually don't want to identify as the label that society might want to put you on and into. But conversely, I think that I choose to identify as a gay man. It's not because society needs me to, or because I'm being told I have to. I like to do that. I find that empowering. To be, it's almost being part of a community. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So they have their ups and their downs. So I guess that was just a point I wanted to make. But sorry, I'm kind of getting away from the chat here, aren't I?
Fine.
Let's see, Simon. Yeah, demisexual. People who only experience sexual attraction after an emotional bond is formed. Yeah, I read that very recently, so I did. So yeah, I'm still learning lots of things.
Yeah.
Irrespective of genders or non-gender. So not capable of knowing if I'm bi because of mental illness, right? Okay, yeah. So probably just my mental illness that's making me feel different. So that's obviously bringing in other factors into it as well. So not only have bi people got to face the kind of biases and prejudice of being under the the LGBTQIA plus being part of the rainbow community. Can I call it that? Can I call it the rainbow community so I don't need to keep saying
So.
LGBTQIA plus? But there's also, there's also other characteristics that that they need to kind of wrestle with the biases for. So yeah. So let's see. So people would rather mistakes happen than people be silent through fear of getting it wrong. The key is to take cues from the person you're speaking with. Wait for them to use their pronouns, how they refer to the person or persons they're in a relationship with. Yeah, yeah. And do you know, I actually intended to make a point in starting this with my pronouns are he and him, because I think that to show support for our, non-binary, genderqueer, gender non-conforming, siblings, I think that needs to become more normal. So I was on a conference call today in my work, and it was so nice because everyone, all of the speakers started off their what they were speaking about with, "Hi, my name's Chris. My pronouns are he and him." And it was just really nice to hear that and actually hear it as a normal thing. But like I'd said, it was yesterday in Becca's chat, Becca's live chat. I had actually said like I need to get better at this because I don't know what my pronoun. I don't know if it's he and him or he and his or him and his. I wasn't actually sure how to properly phrase it. So yeah. You've got a question there, Justin, wondering where you're living.
I live in Glen Olden, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia. It's literally 10 minutes away from Philly. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Lots of trees, lots of birds. I have lots of wild animals, but I'm also very close to the city, so it's home. It's actually where my partner grew up, so it's like his hometown.
My chat on StreamYard seems to have come to a halt. Oh wait, more stuff's coming through now.
I'm able to see the chats down now at the bottom.
Can you?
Which is great.
Oh, that's
yes.
good.
Yeah, some of them, not all of them, just some of them pop up. So.
Okay, is that the ones at the bottom of the screen that I'm highlighting? Right now, it's Waterchild
yes.
Tarot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's me. I'm highlighting them.
I figured you did something. I just yeah. I bought a new Kindle. I need to get like an Apple tablet or something, but I couldn't decide whether I wanted a tablet or a laptop. But I read a lot, and I'm running out of rooms for books, and my Kindle is very old, so I said I'm going to get a new Kindle Fire. And It works great. It's like you can go online, you can do a bunch of stuff with it. The only problem is it's not pulling up the chats when I go into YouTube for whatever reason. So
it's a pain in the backside.
Yeah. So that's a little disclaimer if you're thinking about getting a Kindle Fire. It's definitely not working.
Sophie, so remember during my teen years, people during that time would argue that bi wasn't real. It's either you're gay or straight. It's amazing to me how far society has come with understanding bisexuality more. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think like, society has its down points, but equally, if you look, you can look and you can find the shadow, but at the same time, you can look and you can find the light in society as well. We can be a really good people when we want to be, but it's unfortunate that some of us can also just be really shitty. So I think that we can be. We do have the capacity to be quite progressive. Jonathan, I have a friend who is asexual, polyromantic, and her husband is transitioning into her wife. They're staying together because they love each other. Love is always the answer. Absolutely. And how amazing is that? Do you know what I mean? Because how difficult, a process that must be for both of them to go through. But particularly for the person who's transitioning, to be going through that, and I mean, I'm sure at one point they weren't sure whether their partner was going to stay with them or not, and obviously they would have discussed it, and it would have all been kind of, you know, reassured. But such a thing to go through that, yeah. So Jackie's asked, do you think that gay people have more issues with people who are bi?
That's
Do
a
you
good
mean,
question.
do we think that gay people have more issues with bi people than what straight people do? Or I'm not really sure I fully understand the question, Jackie, and I don't know if I
I
could
think,
really answer it. What do you think, Justin?
well, I think what you're saying is, there might be a certain feeling from gay people towards bi. Like there are certain, I've experienced myself. I know. She's absolutely right. It's
Yeah.
like, I would say definitely there are issues with gay people, but I don't think it's the greatest issues because they're not serious issues. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, but then again, who am I to say that? They could be serious. I mean, I don't know. You would think they weren't, but it's mostly society as a whole, would be issue. But there's definitely issues with gay people and bi. I think it's
Yeah.
changing and getting better. But I mean, in my own experience, I've witnessed it. So I do
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Some old school gays, they, I don't want to say old school, like it has nothing to do with their age, but like I remember 10 years ago is what I'm saying, 10, 15 years ago, if you heard someone say they were bi, there were certain people that would say, there's no such thing as bi, like all the time. You'd hear it. So you don't hear that anymore. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I don't, not often.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do know what you were saying, Jackie.
Yeah. See, this is. Oh yeah, I
Mandy's
highlighted that
here.
for you. Yeah, she has. Mandy and Masha are both here. So
Mandy,
I
the
hope
pooch is
Doggo's
good.
okay.
Yes.
What was I going to say there? I was going to say two things. I had 2 points to make. Yeah, that's another common prejudice, I think. Bi people, or they must be quite promiscuous, or they're just being greedy. They just want everyone, and they must just sleep around. I think that's quite a common kind of bias that they have to face. And the other thing I was going to say, God, this is terrible. I've got the memory span of a teaspoon, I swear to God. So apologies, guys. Hi to
You're
everyone
doing
who's
great,
popping
Chris.
in, by the way. I saw that Val had popped in, Val T. We've also got Hen has just popped in. Where are we? There you are. Hen's popped in. Sandra needs to pop off. That's fine, Sandra. You enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for being here.
Take care, Sandra. Always a pleasure.
So we've spent a wee bit of time talking about the kind of common biases that bisexual people have to face, and I'm sure there are a myriad more. But I wanted to kind of just touch on some of the ways that that we can be better bi allies, I guess. Let's see, we've got Sarah said the assumption that all bi or pansexual people are polyamorous and or promiscuous is still a common one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not here to judge anyone. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
If someone wants to be polyamorous, or if someone wants to, what did Kelly Bear? What phrase did she use? Ethical sluttery. You ever heard of that? Ethical sluttery. I think that was the term she used to describe it. Absolutely nothing against it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I think it's just this common misconception. And the other one is, oh, you must have loads of threesomes then if you're bi. So yeah. So just a couple of things, and I'm going back to the Stonewall survey here. But a couple of the points that it makes, a couple of the things that we can do to be better bi allies. Believe someone when they tell you that they're bi. Don't question it. Don't say, "You sure? Are you sure it's not just a phrase? Are you sure you're not just gay and you're just kind of on the fence?" And I think like that can almost be a subconscious bias, that it's easier, you know. And if I'm totally honest with you, when I was kind of coming out, I was maybe a wee bit guilty of that as well. Thinking, oh well, maybe it would be easier if I was bi. Maybe I'll just be bi, or say I'm bi. That would be a lot easier than having to admit to being gay. I was probably guilty of that. Now, I came out the closet, we're looking at, 12 years ago. So it's a long time
How
ago,
old were
but
you, Chris, when you came out? How old were you?
18.
Okay, so you were still pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, some people would say that's a late bloomer today, but I didn't come out until I was 23 or 23.
Yeah.
When I met Steven is when I fully came out.
Yeah. I do you know what? We're not going to get into my coming out story because that's not what we're here for. But yeah, I was 18, and yeah. So what I'm saying is that's almost like a subconscious thing. So I suppose that's maybe another one that's not here, but challenge your own subconscious biases. Do you know?
Yes.
Don't make assumptions about people, and I think that doesn't just apply to people in the bi umbrella. That applies to like gender queer, gender non-conforming, non-binary people as well. It probably applies to just the general rainbow community altogether. So not making biases, recognize and challenge biphobia. And bi erasure as well. Sorry, that was when I said I had 2 points to make, and I could only remember the one. Bi erasure was the other one. So it's almost like when you're saying it's just a phase, there's no such thing. That's essentially bi erasure, and bi erasure is it's actually a form of phobia that you almost don't really see it in homophobia. People have got their issues with homosexuality. But I don't know that anyone actually says, "Oh, it doesn't exist." Probably are. There's probably lots of people that say that, but not so much as what they say bisexuality doesn't exist. So bi erasure is almost an issue that's faced maybe only by bi people. So I guess that was just an issue that something I wanted to highlight. I won't go through all of these because people can read it for themselves. Using inclusive language, again, I think that's something that we could say across the rainbow community. We talked about, starting off with, my name's Chris, my pronouns are he and him. Support by organisations and campaigns. So if I'd done my homework, I would have had a link for you. But there's Bi Pride UK. I would imagine you guys in the US have probably got a Bi Pride event as well. But you would need to look that up. I'm not.
I don't know if we do or not. I can't think of any. I'm sure we do. I've never. I know we have a big gay pride parade here in Philly, and in New York is really big.
Yeah. Let me just catch some comments, make sure I'm not completely missing anything. Michelle Craker's popped in. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, Michelle.
Elsie's big up ethical sluttery. That's a comment that needs to be highlighted if ever I saw one. Right, we caught Sarah's comment there. So let's see. Sarah's going to go and find this video from Kelly. Sorry, guys. By the way, I should have said the plan was always if once we were kind of we'd said what we wanted to say and had the conversation about bi visibility. If we had time, and I think we probably will have a bit of time to maybe do some readings. So I'm going to actually put the banner on just now, just the one that I had on you last week. So yeah, anyway, sorry. So we've got big up ethical sluttery. Michelle's popped in. Assumptions are shit emoji. Yeah, that's a good bottom line. Accept and support everyone and don't question or pigeonhole anybody. Yeah.
Exactly.
Most straight folks know they are straight when kids, no sexual and have no sexual experience. So you don't have to have a sexual experience with the opposite gender to be valid and to reach a specific age. Sorry, I wasn't very good at reading that out there. So yeah, and I think as a gay person who's never slept with a woman, that's maybe one that I've come up against. You know, how do you know you're gay if you've not tried it? You know, and obviously the obvious kind of retort is, well, how do you know you're straight if you've never tried it? You know. But anyway, Sarah thinks of bi-erasure as more assuming that someone is gay or straight depending on the appearance of the person that they're dating. I suppose that's a form of it, but my understanding of bi-erasure is that it's erasure of the bi umbrella. You know, it's assuming that it doesn't exist or asserting that it doesn't exist, and there's kind of different ways you can do that. So you can say that, saying that it's just a pit stop on the way to being gay or a pit stop on the way to being straight. You're almost, you're dismissing it as a phase, and you're not accepting that it's actually a genuine sexual identity. My daughter at 11 has a friend who expressed that she has feelings for my daughter, and she was clear that she doesn't mean as a friend or a sister, and they're still friends. Yeah, your daughter's obviously an amazing person then, because I don't think that a lot. Well, maybe I'm discrediting people, but yeah, I certainly in my time I went to a Catholic school, I suppose. So I don't think I could ever have had that conversation with someone and still be friends with them and it still be the same. Becca, I always known you were a lesbian from your earliest memory. Yeah. Let's see. I think we've just got some hellos.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
From the earliest memory. It's really interesting. It took me a while to figure out.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, though, in a way, like if you have that kind of certainty, about something. It's like you don't really have, it makes it easier, I think, because for me, a big part of it was a battle with myself, let alone the people around me. It was like, working it out in my own mind,
Yeah.
I guess I suppose it depends on what kind of, environment you grow up in too, But then again, you have people like, my mom would always say, I lost a cousin from AIDS in the 90s, my cousin Billy, early 90s. And my mother always says, and this is probably like insulting, but my mother used to say this like 20 years ago, like, and it's true, he wanted to put like curlers in my mother's hair at the age of like 3, like, you know what I mean? Like he was very into like, helping my mother with her hair and, helping her get dressed and stuff. He was 3 years old. So he was obviously born, sort of a little flamboyant, I don't even know if I'm being politically correct. See, it's really tough to talk about these things.
I understand
I'm gay,
that.
and I worry about offending people. It's like, am I allowed to say this? It's like,
Yeah. It's such difficult water for everyone to tread because, like, you don't want to be like, oh, it's okay for me to say it because I'm gay, But at the same time, there's some terms that we've recaptured, we've taken back,
Steven's
You know.
photobombing me in the back. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure he
Okay.
doesn't walk out naked. That's all. Just
Oh,
don't
right,
come
yeah,
out
no.
naked, Steven, and we're good. All right.
Yeah, let them know that you're live on
Unless you
YouTube.
want everybody to see it.
Oh, don't do that. My channel will
I
get.
actually did that once to him. He was in a meeting in the kitchen, and he was in a like
No.
I swear to God, I walked out in my boxer shorts.
All
Like,
right,
I
okay.
was just
Right.
woke up, and he was like, I don't know. He told me, and I totally forgot. And I walked out in the box, and everybody in his meeting saw me. I thought he was terrified. He was like so mad at me, but only for like 10 minutes, and it was funny. It's funny now.
I think I would have just found that really funny. I think if Sandy ended up, you know, coming in front of my camera with like, you know, in some state of undress, it would probably have been him that was annoyed at me. I don't think it would be the other way about. I would just be laughing, I think. Simon said the funniest one when I went out with some friends once. One said, "You've got double the chance of pulling tonight." It did make me chuckle, but mainly because I'm not the pulling type. Yeah, because you know because you're I don't want to mislabel you, Simon. I'm not sure if you do what you do identify as, or if you do identify as anything. So, but yeah, I think in general there's you know a misconception that because you're bi, you must be attracted to everyone in the world. Not quite what
Oh
it
yeah.
means, is
Well,
it?
it's like when people find out you're gay, like they think you're going to be attracted to every guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, just don't hit on me. I don't care about that stuff, but just don't make any passes at me, and we'll be okay. It's like, yeah, you're not my type, buddy. I would never hit on you anyway. I think part of it too, Chris, is, and this is obviously your program, and we may agree on a lot of things, we may not agree on everything, but I would say mostly is to just like be respectful. You know what I mean, and but also I think it's all about how you're not only be respectful, but I think we also have to be understanding that be understanding of people's intentions. In other words, somebody may say something that's politically incorrect, but they mean well, and they're sort of learning. Because I think we're all learning, but I'm not too easily offended by things. But I think it's like, we have to sometimes give people like a little room to wiggle. You know what I mean? Like to learn, because you can't expect people to know what's offensive and what's not all the time. Obviously, there's a spectrum of things. Some things are intolerable, like obvious things that would make somebody a horrible person.
Yeah.
But there are little nuances and things that like we kind of have. We can't be so. We want naked Steven. You can have them, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Right, let's see.
Simon.
I've seen many changes. Lots of straight guy friends now. Not so long back, it wasn't the case, as they either felt threatened or embarrassed to have a gay friend. Yeah, people surprise you on both ends. People surprise you by how bigoted they can be, but people can also surprise you by how loving and accepting they can be. Is what I've found.
Yes.
So yeah, like at Scottish weddings, we typically tend to do a bit of ceilidh dancing, so like Scottish folk dancing type thing. And so like usually at some point in the proceedings, me and my, depending who I'm dancing with, it's usually me and my friend Emma, right? But usually we'll swap places, it's like there's like a very kind of standard, like the guys have their bit to do and the women have their bit to do, right? And they're all doing these kind of folk dance type things. I'm not explaining it very well, but I'm sure you kind of know roughly what I mean.
I would love to see this. Now I have to YouTube it. Like, what is it
Some,
called? It's the Scottish folk dancing?
so yeah, look up ceilidh dancing. So
like
how do you spell it?
Kelly or K?
No, so it's Kelly. Is it Kelidh? Someone correct me if I'm
Okay.
wrong.
It's like Gaelic, right?
I think it's not K, Ceilidh, I
Yeah.
think. I'm typing that into the chat just so I can see it. But Ceilidh dancing, look up like Scottish Ceilidh dancing. So there's dances like Strip the Willow, the Gay Gordons is one, which I love to call the Straight Gordons. But anyway, at some point in the proceedings, me and Emma will swap places. I'll do the women's bit where I'll be like kind of twirling underneath and stuff, and she, who's by the way about half the height of me, she'll be doing the guys bit, right? And the way a lot of these dances work, or one particular one works that I can think of, is you kind of you do your bit with your partner and then like you kind of almost move on, so it moves down and you have your chance, you basically have a turn dancing with everyone, right?
Yeah.
So of course that means that I'm then just working my way down dancing with like all the guys that are up dancing, and so, you always get the one who steps back and refuses to dance with a guy, you know it's it's daft. But I think again I'm kind of straying off topic here. So yeah, it's all about making an effort to understand one another and give people some wiggle room. When it comes to like kind of treading like kind of being fearful of offending and being politically correct and not correct, my stance is always like there's got to be a bit of there's two sides to it. If I'm saying something that's going to be potentially offensive, I've got to be mindful of that. I've got to watch what I'm saying, and I've got to be mindful of how it's going to affect people and not be completely ignorant.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you're the person listening, if you know that I'm saying something and I mean it with love in my heart and I don't mean anything bad by it,
Yes.
then I think there's like a bit of an onus both ways to
Yeah.
kind of just look at the intention behind the words. I'm not saying that it's okay for me to use clearly bigoted and hateful words. That's
Right.
not what I mean at all. I don't think it's okay to be
No,
ignorant, but
we get it.
I do think that there needs to be a bit of understanding on both sides, and I think that's the kind of best way that we tread that. So let's see. Right. Okay. So we've managed to have some pretty good conversation tonight, I think. We've covered some of the kind of stats, we've covered some of the common biases and issues that are faced by people in the bi umbrella, and we've chatted chatted a bit about how to be a good bi ally. Okay. Now I'm keen for the conversation to keep going, by the way. Let's keep chatting about this stuff. But what me and Justin are going to do is we'll probably do a couple of readings. So if there is anyone in the chat just now who quite fancies a wee reading, then post your question to us in all capitals, please, and we'll catch it. All right. So anyone who wants a reading, post your question in all capitals. It'd be helpful as well if you could tag me in it. So tag at Elemental Cartomancy so that it highlights on my other screen in orange. And we'll pull some cards. What deck are you using, Justin?
Right now I have the Arnold by Conrad Stein. It's just the one I grabbed and I've been using. It's a Marseille deck, basically. It's
Nice.
It's a Marseille. It's like a Bisexual style sort of. It has the I think that's what it's called, Mendy, right? Am I right, Mendy? Is this a Bisexual, the Arnold? It's got the Juno and
Right.
Jupiter.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, it's just the High Priestess is Juno and the Hierophant is Jupiter.
Yeah.
He might be moving out, or luckily it's laundry day, Robin. So no, he's doing laundry. I'm not usually in this angle because I have my reading table, like that I like to use for readings. So I have like a sort of a different angle. But we've rearranged all the furniture in the house. I bought 2 new bookshelves at IKEA, and we got to go back for a desk tomorrow. But I have all this new space now for more decks, so I'm going to be pretty dangerous. No, I'm just kidding. I'm still watching my pennies. But
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, to be honest. I get paid tomorrow, actually. 2 hours.
hey,
In 2 hours, it's payday. That money should go into my bank account, so it cannot come quick enough. Val's got to go. She's going to miss the readings, but that's okay. Justin does have a YouTube. Let me just see if I can post a wee link to it.
thank you, Chris. Justin Michael is
All
my
right.
name, and usually I come right up. I think like if you just put Justin Michael and tarot, comes up.
Why am I not finding you very easily? Is
Maturity
this where I get
change
found
my
out when
life.
I've secretly unsubscribed or something? Justin, oh, you're the second one down. I just can't see you for looking at you, Justin.
Yeah, did I? Yeah, my picture's in there. I'm trying to remember which picture, but it should be the one with the by the waterfall or something.
There we go. Okay, so we've got a question from Jonathan, and guys, I'm going to use the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. I have trimmed it and edged it in red for all those deck modders who are interested.
Nice.
Oh, Simon gets paid in 2 hours as well.
Hey, what are we buying, Simon?
I know, what we're going to buy.
I just ordered 4 decks from Yves Renault today.
Right.
4. Oh boy.
I don't think I'm actually going to buy any kind of tarot related stuff this month because I've already kind of spent my October pocket money on the Rachel Pollock lecture.
Oh, I'm so glad you're going to that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to it.
Man. I just got a new book on Elusis too today, but I'm going to read her book, Body of the Goddess, before we go. And I'm going to do that sometime this month. Hopefully, I'll get to it this month. But I'm definitely doing like a deep dive on Elusis. It's great. It's great stuff. And she talks about it all the time in every book. How fun is that going to be? 2 hours of her talking.
I know.
Tickets are still available. I actually put a link in my last video. I don't know. I don't have a link now, obviously, but if anyone's interested in that, she's going to be giving a lecture on the Eleusinian mysteries and tarot, and I believe it's $50 per person. It's a 2-hour class / lecture on Zoom, and it can be purchased. I forget the name of the. But I do have the link for it in my video with like the new Marseille deck I was showing.
I'll see if I can get a link for it. I'll see how quickly I can. Yeah. So I've posted Jonathan's question up on the screen. Jonathan's asked, how will the high vibe witchery class change my life?
I'm just going to do 3 card draws.
It's fine. I'll probably do the same.
So you're going to get two for the price of 1 here, Jonathan. I don't do readings usually in this type of situation, but
I can go first if you're comfortable, or if you want to go first, Justin.
That doesn't matter. I didn't draw the card. If you're ready to go, that's fine. But
I'm not. I'm trying to find this link to the Zoom thing, the Rachel thing first. Come on. Sorry, people watching me scrolling. Here we go. Right, I've got it.
So these are the 3 cards I drew here. I have the 10 of Cups. I have the High Priestess in the middle, which is Juno. And then I have the Ace of Cups. Oops. So, what I'm thinking about in terms of your question, how will the high vibe witchery? So the first is the 10 of Cups. So it looks like, you sort of run your passion or your interest in something sort of ran its course. You know what I mean? It's you're still like sort of passionate about it, but you maybe hit like sort of some sort of plateau, and you need some inspiration. And so I feel like that is where you're going to get it. So we have the Ace of Cups, which is going to be the source of your passion for whatever it is you're studying, the high five. So I feel like, and then of course you have the high priestess, which is intuition, mystery, things like that. So I don't know. I'm feeling like, let me just think about this. How can I explain it? I feel like the class is going to be good for you. You know, it's going to put you in touch with your intuition. Your possibly, you know, allow you to tap into something new and some sort of new passion that you didn't really know about before. You know what I mean? And that's the Ace of Cups for me. I feel like, you know, it's something, you know, you'll gain something from it. At least that's what it appears to be in the cards.
Amazing.
Chris?
Okay. So, Jonathan, for the actual class itself, for the dynamic of the class and stuff, I wanted to pull a wee card for that and we get the Seven of Wands. Where are we? So, you know, in the actual picture, in fact, let me kind of just move you off the screen, Jonathan, just so that you can see the cards that we're drawing out. I should have done that when you were reading, sorry, Justin. So, it shows someone, you know, fighting for what they believe in, being active. I think in this case, it's for the environment. You know, it's going to be an opportunity to kind of have that back and forth dynamic. You know, I see you asking a lot of questions, Jonathan. Now, I know that all you people in the chat are thinking, not our Jonathan. He won't be asking questions. He'll just be sitting quietly in the corner, not saying anything. No, no, yeah. You know, asking lots of questions, being able to kind of bounce off. You know, exchange it. What's the correct term for what I'm trying to say? So that kind of energetic exchange, you know, where you get something out of, you know, what you're learning, but at the same time, you know, that exchange, there's going to be like that kind of mutual benefit almost. For how it's going to kind of further you, and for the opportunities it's going to for the opportunities that it's going to present for you as a person, we've got the Three of Wands and the Knight of Cups. So Three of Wands is showing you starting taking action on something that you've had the inspiration, you've looked at it and you've planned and you've thought about it, do you know what I mean? But you've not actually kind of taking those physical steps to actually doing it. Okay, so there's something that you're quite excited about. You feel, you know, two wands cards here. Wands is all about purpose and, you know, inspiration, passion, you know, so something that you're feeling that way about is actually going to let you physically take those steps, actually start getting shit done, making shit real. And the Knight of Cups is, you know, that's another kind of active, more fire energy. Actually, 3 cards here and they've all got fire energy in them. So I see a lot of passion in you about this, Jonathan. And the Knight obviously has got that water element as well. So it's bringing your feelings into it, and it links in with what Justin was saying about you pulled the High Priestess, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So it links in with that, kind of connecting with your intuition, but in a kind of practical and active way. So yeah, that's and really sorry, being in touch with your feelings and stuff. That was the other thing I was trying to say. So yeah, that Jonathan, that's what I see for you. Let us know how that was. Give us some feedback. Some feedback is always nice when you're doing these. Good or bad. Let us know if it resonates. And let us know how the actual class itself goes. Okay. I take it that's about Stephen. Stephen is the unintended star of this show, so he is.
Wait, he's what? What did that say?
I think it says
he's had enough of our Googling and requests for boxer short appearances. Yeah, he's gone. He peeled out, man. This is his day. He hates when I'm home on Thursdays. He just does not like it because this is like the day he does all the laundry and he cleans the whole house. Because Steven is extremely OCD, whereas I'm the complete opposite. But like we both, like I'll change the oil and change the brakes on the vehicles. I do. We have our roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he likes to do laundry every Thursday, and he does my laundry also, which is nice. And then he cleans the whole entire apartment, so he's probably not happy that I'm sitting in the living room right now. But when he comes home, I will be gone. I'll be either in the bedroom watching television, or I'll be at the gym or something.
Yeah. Out his way. Poor guy.
Correct.
Right, okay. So, Jonathan said, thanks, guys. The High Priestess is my soul card.
Oh, good.
That's nice.
Oh, so Jonathan, just wondering, because it's really, really ironic that you brought that up, because I just was reading in Mary Greer's book about the soul cards and personality cards, and I was going to maybe talk about that. I was going to just mention it, and it's so weird that you brought that up, because I literally, just before I came on here, I was reading about soul card. So I believe my soul card is the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Magician. But I may have 3, actually. I have to figure it out, because I literally was just doing it. But I believe, so what you do for the soul card, and let me know, Jonathan, if this is what you did, if this is what you're going. But you add up your birthday. So for me, it's 2 and 24, right? It's February 24th, which is 26. And then you add that to 1982, my birth year. And then you get like a 4-digit number, and you reduce that down to a number that's 22 or less. And then you do that, and then you reduce that further. So that first number is your personality card, and that shows your sort of goal in this current life. And then when you reduce that further, so let's say it's 22, you reduce that to 4, so it would be the Hierophant or the Emperor.
Yeah.
So that would be your soul card, and that's your sole purpose throughout all lives. And Rachel Pollack brought that up in my interview with her. She brought that she cited Mary Greer. So that sent me down sort of a chase for Mary Greer books, and I'm reading one, but I just got Tarot Constellations, which I paid a fortune for. It's out of print, Tarot Constellations. Some people want like as much as $150 for it, but I got it for like $40. But it's a little workbook, and it was jacked up. It was really messed up, but I ended up sanding the pages down and fixing it. So it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went on and on about, but I
you're fine.
I wanted to ask Jonathan if that's what he was talking about, Mary Greer's that way, or was it something else? But go ahead, you can continue. Maybe.
No, well, I was actually going to ask. So see when I do mine, and the first number between 1 and 22 that I get is 2, so I can't reduce it any further. So High Priestess is all I get. So
that's both your soul card and your personality card.
Right. Okay.
Yes, that's actually she mentions that in the book.
Right.
There's certain instances where you get the same card as both. And actually, for me, I believe I have 3. So I think for you, it's like a special path, for that specific purpose. So it would be the High Priestess. So you're obviously, a mystic and intuitive, and you are, in touch with the whole High Priestess energy. And that's
I love missing pomegranate.
Yeah, and pretty cool about pomegranates. I actually, I sent Rachel a mezuzah, which had pomegranates on. I just, as most people know, I gifted her the Le Tarot Noir, but I was shopping around for a new mezuzah for myself. And a mezuzah is something that Jewish people hang on their door, and it has a prayer in it, and it's like a Jewish blessing. I'm not Jewish, but I just love these things. But I happened to see one, and it had pomegranates on it, and so I got it for her, and she absolutely loved it. And she said that she was actually writing about that specific thing when I sent it to her. It was so strange. It's very synchronistic.
Yeah. It's really nice.
You say birth card is between 1 and 22. Mine is Justice. Then you figure out the soul card is between 1 and 9. Yeah, that's the Mary Greer one. Okay.
It's funny because I always thought I was Justice, and the reason I thought that is because I was basically, so my birthday is the 1st of November, 1988, right?
Okay,
so instead of adding 111 and 1988, I was adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8.
That's the
and
number. Okay, so
What?
that's the numerology way, but Mary Greer explains that you do it the way you add it to the whole 1998. That's the way she explains it in the book.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to cut you off. I just literally read about that.
No, that's okay. And you just took 10 years off me, so thanks very much for that.
Yeah. So maybe that's why you're coming up with the high priestess or whatever for twice. You might want to try it the other way.
Well, the high priestess is what happens. So 1,988 plus 1 plus 11 gives you 2,000.
Yes.
And 2,000, when you reduce it, it's just
It's
2.
2. Yeah.
So high priestess would be my soul and the other card you mentioned. But when you do it the numerology way, that's when I think you get down to 11.
Yes.
So yeah. I don't see any more questions, by the way. So if anyone wants to ask a question and for us to read for them, then please do pop it in caps. Tag me so as I see it, and we'll pull some cards. But yeah, sorry, Justin, I cut you off there.
No, I am very good at cutting people off, Chris. So I do it all the time. It's no problem. It's my attention span. I'm like, oh, look, there's another topic.
Simon, you're young as well. Don't give me that. You're still just a young thing. Simon's
Come on,
asked
Grandpa.
a question. God's sake, I'm like the wee angel and Justin's like the devil. That's exactly what that is here, isn't it? Good cop and bad cop.
I actually have Stephen Bright's deck out now. The Spirit Within, which is a deck that I really love this deck, but I don't really read with it much. But I'm starting to.
Oh, it was
I'm
a
starting
joke.
to read with it more. What do you say?
Simon posted a question, but then he said joke. I was like shuffling away. I was getting ready.
No, you're getting a reading for that, Simon. I'm reading that. We're gonna read that one. How do I embrace getting old? Let's do that.
Becca says he's nearly 50.
50's the new 40. Don't worry.
Day over 35. Just pulled that number out the other.
I don't know. Oh, let's see here. It's funny reading for people like Simon because I know Simon's such a really good reader. It's kind of like when I read for Rachel, where I pulled the cards for Rachel. I was like, I think. So I got the Hierophant, the Three of Cups, and the High Priestess. And this is the Spirit Within tarot. This camera's a little strange. So these are all like silhouettes, and I kind of like this deck for that, because you can like sort of imagine like whatever you want in there. But
what's the card in your right hand? Sorry, Justin. You've got the Three of Cups, the High Priestess, and
the Hierophant was the first card drawn. Right.
Yep.
And we have the Three of Cups.
Yep.
And High Priestess. So I think that this is very simple. I just go off in like these long reading. I think it's very cut and dry here. Be wise and be like, also, put a lot of importance in faith. I think with the Hierophant, you have your beliefs. You know that in most beliefs we believe that there's a special importance in growing old. But have a good time, right? And trust your instincts. Trust your your gut instincts. It's kind of what I get from that. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what the cards say to me. Be faithful, have a good time, and trust yourself. Trust your instincts.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the Hierophant fits into it, but I was going to say Three of Cups, go out and get shit-faced. High Priestess, don't talk about your age. Just don't tell anyone. No one needs to know.
That's true. Yeah,
age is just a number after all.
that's a good. I always forget that about the high priestess. The high priestess can be tough. And that's the second time I got her in both readings. So both readings today had the high priestess. The high priestess is a sort of a tough card for me to read sometimes. It's like, it's got to be deeper than just intuition and like mystery and things like that. Like, I don't know. I have to do like a bonding with the high priestess, I think.
I like to think so when I struggle with like cards like the High Priestess and the Magician sometimes as well. I think about 78 Degrees of Wisdom. When Rachel talks about the Fool, he starts off as a hermaphrodite. He's got both masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
He then splits off into the masculinity of the magician,
Yes.
which is the kind of the active energy, and the magician,
the animus.
especially in the olden days, it's that kind of it's that very active, outgoing type energy. And then you've got the feminine, the high priestess, and that's the kind of the more reserved. She says everything by not saying anything at all. Less is more type energy.
Yes.
And comes back together in the end in the world.
Yes.
The world is also a hermaphrodite, but with
Yes.
all of the experience and the wisdom of the journey through the majors. So that's normally my kind of kickoff point for the high priestess. And
that's
then
a very good point. That's a very good point. I think, with that specific point, with the animus and the anima, that's a very Jungian thing, Carl Jung. And I think that, but it's also sort of like it's got a hermetic and like even a Kabbalistic kind of root to it. All of that stuff, alchemy, hermeticism, is all sort of tied in. But people don't realize that with Carl Jung, he was very influenced by alchemy and hermeticism. So when he in the book Young to Live By, not the Young to Live By, that's my French channel, Young in the Tarot, they use the major arcana exactly like you said, but it's a stepping stone for what they call what Jung called individuation, which is to search out so in other words, when you're a man, you're born a man, but there's also a part inside of you that's called the anima, which is your sort of feminine part. Now, it doesn't mean you're partially a female. It just means that all men have an anima in them. And usually it's gotten from like the women in your life or the influential women, your mother, could be your desire to sort of fill that void. And that's where you seek out in a partner. It doesn't have to be a gender. It doesn't have to be, for me, seeking out my anima could be from a man, you know what I mean? But it's still that feminine part that sort of fits like, two pieces, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like so individuation, I don't want to go on and on about Jung and bore everybody, but the individuation is represented by the world card at the end, because when you individuate in like the Jungian type way, you are integrating all parts of yourself, your shadow. You're integrating your shadow. You're integrating all aspects of your personality and becoming whole. And that sort of life is like an actual, like, if you individuate or whatever, like, it doesn't mean you're special. I think it like individuation just is like a natural course of life. It's like, represented, like you said, it's the split, and then you have the mother, the father, all these early child influences, and then you have the external influences, the impact of death, and disappointment, and the need for strength, the faith, all these other things, all the spiritual aspects of it. All these things kind of make you a person, like a well-rounded person, and that's the world card, like sort of represents like the unification of the anima and the animus, or as Rachel says, the Shekinah and like the like Almighty God or whatever, like the male aspect of God and the female aspect of God, and they sort of come together at the end.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry for that. I just
no, that's fine.
People use a lot of Jungians love the tarot deck, the 22 major arcana, because they use it as a sort of an analogy for the process of individuation.
Yeah. We've got another question from our lovely hen. She says she's curious what's going to come out. So Hen's asking, what am I holding on to that I need to release?
I'm going to try a different deck here. Okay, I have the Centennial.
Yeah, interesting. I can go first if you want, Jonathan. Hen, for what are you holding on to? I pulled the Two of Wands. Okay. I actually kind of touched on this in the last reading. So the Two of Wands for me is that planning phase. It's that phase there's not much action yet. Not much action has been taken. And either the ace or the two. The ace is that kind of spark, that potential, and the two is when you're doing mind maps, you're researching stuff, you're looking into it. You've kind of got an idea of what you've found something that's going to give you purpose. You've been planning, you've been planning out. Can I do this financially? Can I do this physically? Can I do this? Is this even possible to do? You're going through all those plans. The fact that that's come up when I've said what is it that we're holding on to, that's kind of suggesting to me that you're maybe stuck in this planning phase, and you actually need to just get out there and do it. Whatever the thing is, Hen, that you're wanting to do, I would say take action on it. That's the key here. I think that we can all at times be guilty of getting stuck in that two phase, and for whatever reason, whether it's kind of fear of the unknown or whatever, the threes, when you put yourself out there and you open yourself up to, all the positives and negatives that come with your new project, your new passion, your new purpose. And that can be scary, So a lot of us can kind of find ourselves stuck in this two phase. That is what's holding you back. It's that fear of actually taking action. As an advice card, we got Temperance. All right. And what that's saying is, this isn't like balls to the wall, all out. You need to let go of everything else, drop all the other plates, and just go and proceed on with that one. There is a way that you can achieve balance in your life. We're all complex individuals. We've all got so many different things, building blocks that make us who we are. Work life, family life, worrying that Chris can only think of two aspects of life that he can list, your hobbies, we've all got so many things that make up who we are. And one of the kind of struggles that we all face is finding that balance, finding the balance that's right. How many people can actually tell you, I'm in a place where I'm really happy with my work, I'm, stable, got a good house, I'm making good money, I'm happy in my relationship, and I feel as though I've got real purpose in life. I've got something that that's unique to me and it makes me who I am. Finding that balance is difficult, but it's a journey that it's a step that we all face. And Temperance coming up is saying that you can do it. You totally have the capacity to do this. And then the last card that we've got is the Hierophant. What I would say with that card is, don't be scared to look at people who have kind of had similar journeys before you. All right. Take advice, read up on it. If it's something that you can kind of go to the library or go onto Amazon or your Kindle and download some books and look up, research online. How did I do this, or how did such and such do this? How did they make a success out of it? Take steer from the people that have done it before you. Find support in your community around about you, and when I say community, that could that could be your family. It could be literally your community. The people around about you are going to be key here. All right, you're certainly not on your own. as much as it may sometimes feel like that. There's lots of people there to help you. So yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing there. What have you got, Justin?
So I drew. It's interesting that you brought up balance. Of course, and tarot is always about balance in a way, right? Finding balance. But we have the 5 of swords. I have the 6 of coin, and then the 2 of coins. So this was the first card. It's just sort of like
Okay.
So I feel like maybe you have an attachment to some things that were said to you, or past sort of experiences or abuses that sort of have occurred. And that's what I see with the 5. You have the bully with the swords. I see him sort of as like a bully figure, maybe some sort of maybe some past traumatic experience that you hold on to. That is with the 6, I sort of see you sort of compensating for that. Whether it's whether you have your exercise routines, physically, because coins could also be health, and sort of doing things to achieve some sort of compensation for that. You know what I mean? Then and then you have the 2, which is balance. You know what I mean? It's finding the balance, balancing that out. You know what I mean? But I think we all have things that we hold on to, like parts of our shadow, or things that have happened to us, traumatic experiences. I don't know if this pertains to a certain individual. Is this with possibly with the relationship with someone, like one person, or in general? What are you holding on to in terms of in general life, or is a specific person, maybe a relationship, like a romantic relationship? If it's a romantic relationship, it could be like you're holding on to some kind of thing that negative that happened, or that was said probably in the past, or that you discovered, and you're trying to compensate for that now with your actions. But you need to find some sort of balance. You need to get to the root of the matter. You have to find out exactly what the real solution is, and not by compensating for it in ways that aren't dealing that, or in other words, like a Band-Aid or something. But I don't know. That's just one thing that came to mind, maybe. So I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Cool. Yeah, let us know how that was, Hen. Let's see. Simon's turning in because he's up early tomorrow.
Night,
thank you so
Simon.
much for being here, Simon.
Thanks, Simon.
Good night. Have a good sleep. Jonathan had asked if he was to do a live, what day would be best, because he doesn't really want to double up and step on someone's toes. So I've said I think probably off the top of my head, my Tuesday evening. So Tuesday evening for me. Now, Jonathan, you need to translate from British time what that is for you.
Yeah, I think I did my live when on. Was it 4 p.m. on Tuesday?
So it was your 4 o'clock. Yeah, that's right.
4 p.m. So maybe do it 5, or find out. You know what I mean? Would you be able to do? Well, what time would that be for you? 5. Chris?
For me.
Yeah, that'd be 10 o'clock. In the UK.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people watch from the UK, so you probably want to.
Yeah. So it'd be 10 p.m. UK time.
Yeah, you don't want to do it too early because, there'll still be people at work, but you don't want to do it too late either. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tuesday's probably a good day. I don't do lives there. I've only done one, but I was planning to maybe do one, maybe once a month or something.
Yeah. Cool. And Hen said that makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Chris and Justin. You're very, very welcome.
You're welcome.
Robin said, question, why am I attracted to certain types? Is that a question you want us to read for, Robin? Because I thought I saw you say that up above, but then say it wasn't one you were wanting a reading for. It was just a kind of general question.
I want to get a deck specifically for this. Hold on one second. I want to get another deck. Sorry. I'm deck crazy today.
Okay.
For Robin, I want to use the New Choice Tarot.
Okay. So do you mean certain types of people, Robin? Or do you feel that you attract a certain type of person and you want to kind of get to the root of it? Sorry, I know follow-up questions to left, right, and centre here. Certain types of men. So why am I attracted to certain types of men? Okay, we'll do a wee situation, advice, and outcome then.
I love
For
this
me,
for
sorry.
relationship readings. This deck, is really good for relationship readings. The one I'm using now, the new choice.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's the art that just, I don't know. There's something about it. I use it a lot on my TikTok channel for like relationship type spreads and stuff.
Yeah. Just realised my phone's ran out of charge.
Are you on your phone or?
No. I'm on the computer, but I had the table cam waiting in the wings, and it had just disappeared. And I thought, it's fine. I don't need it anyway. But I thought it had just timed out because I hadn't brought it into the actual studio. But it's not. It's because my phone ran out of charge. So
I want to just give you an example. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No. That was me.
I was thinking about my reading, and I didn't realize you were.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I just pulled 3 really cool cards, and this is why I love this deck. So I got 3 core cards for Robin. I don't know exactly what they mean yet, but this is why I love this. Trying to find a good view for this type of questions. Like why am I attracted to certain types of men? You have all core cards, which is perfect for individuals, especially. So I have the Cavalier de Denier, which is the Knight of Coin. I have the Page of Wands, and I have the King of Wands. So, Robin, you like them old, you like them young, you like fire sign. No, actually, these are all fire energy. So, I don't know. You're attracted to, like, you have the Knight, you have the Page, and you have the King, and they're all fire energy. So I don't know. Do you have like a thing for Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries men? You have young, pretty boy kind of thing going on in the valet. Is there like a young man that you fancy currently? This is like in the present position. Young fire energy, sort of pretty boy, and then you have like the Knight. Oh no, it's not all fire energy. I'm such an idiot. This is a coin, but still same point though. You have, I guess, in the past you have like the Knight of Coin, right?
Knights of fire energy though, Justin.
Huh? Yes,
Knights
they
of
are.
Fire.
Yeah, no, they are. But I was thinking suits. They are fire energy. You're right. Yeah, in a way they are. But I think you look at that like sort of more than I do. I mean, I agree with you. They are the fiery part of Earth. So. Yes, that's true. That's a good point, Chris. Maybe there's somebody in the past that you sort of that influences what you like going forward. Like in other words, you had a past experience with the Knight of Pentacles here that was like such a kind of intense, maybe sexual or relationship type encounter that you sort of based all of your attractions off of that one type of person. And that's probably why you, like, in other words, this experience with this individual has made you has shaped the way you are into men. And they're probably like bad boy types, you know what I mean? That fire energy kind of, bad boy sort of, because you have Knight and Page, but maybe you need to settle for someone a little more mature, someone who's a little closer to your age, and somebody who is who understands you, and you can connect with on a more substantial level as opposed to sexual. And, pretty boys and knights are attractive, but you might want the mature king for something more substantial, maybe. I'm just riffing here, folks. I don't get paid for this shit, all right?
Don't listen to him, guys. If you knew the perversions I had to perform to get him on here. No, I'm joking. Robin, so the first card that I've pulled is the Seven of Cups, okay? When we talk about relationships, when we talk about connecting with people, our feelings are obviously really prominent, We like to kind of act with our feelings, and we feel as though that's the way it should be. When we're talking about being a relationship person, when we're talking about finding our soulmate, it should all be about our feelings, no? But I think what we need to remember is that, that conscious process, that logical process is equally important, all right? Seven of Cups usually comes up when, you're under some sort of illusion, you're almost not seeing things the way they are. So what I'm going to ask you, Robin, is do you often find that you kind of go into a relationship thinking that you've got apples, and then actually you find out when you get to know them a bit better, you've got oranges or something like that. It's just not what you were signing up to at all, because that's what these cards would suggest. And the key is maybe, obviously, it's important that we engage emotionally. It's important that we engage our passions as well. We have to feel that spark of passion. But the advice card that you've got is the King of Blades. Okay? Now, the Heir of Air, the King of Blades, he's all about the facts and the evidence, It's funny, he's quite a kind of stoic character to have as an advice about a relationship, But I think what this is saying is don't let the wool be pulled over your eyes, Yeah, be open with your feelings and your passions and all that kind of thing. Think about how it's going to affect your security down the line, Think about the practicalities of it, but don't ignore evidence that's right in front of you, If the guy is clearly an arsehole, then you need to, at that stage, don't ignore that, If something just doesn't feel right, then listen to your instincts, but facts and evidence is what the King of Blades is all about. So just kind of try and be a wee bit more, logical when you're thinking about people, prospective suitors. And then the last card that I pulled was the Hermit. Okay. Don't be scared to spend some time on your own. You don't need someone else to give you purpose. You're perfect just the way you are, Robin. All right. And just always remember that. Don't feel the need to settle for someone just because because that seems to be the done thing. There's nothing wrong with being just you. Just bear in mind what I'd said. If you are looking for someone and you are wanting to kind of open yourself up, open yourself up emotionally, open yourself up passionately, but look at the facts, look at the evidence in front of you. Think about words exchanged, when we think swords and air energy, we think about messages and spoken verbalizations, listen to what's been said, process it, and make decisions based on that, and not just your own feelings. Don't be clouded by your feelings. So I've kind of answered your question and then kind of went on a wee bit. So he says it's very complicated, but I'll take it. Sorry, I'll put this on the screen so you can see it, Justin. But I'll take it under advisement.
Nice.
My accent. Thank goodness for my accent. If it wasn't for my accent, I would just sound like a dunce.
Mendy, I know it's like impossible to compete with this guy. He's like the Scottish, I don't know what, but he's like, he's got a silver-tongued devil.
Right, we've got a couple more questions, I think. So we've got one
do you
from
know who else was what was the other Scottish guy? I think he's either Scottish or Welsh. Ballantyre, John Ballantyre. Whatever happened to him? I didn't see him make any readings. I used to watch his videos just for his accent.
I'm not sure actually. I know I've seen some of his videos, but I've not seen him in a long time. Now you say that.
Interesting. Good spread guy.
There was someone else. Oh, it's terrible. Like they're still in the community.
Back from my little city apartment to my larger property. Oh, Masha. For Masha, I'm going to use a classic Marseille. Hold on. Let me get it.
Justin's got a different deck for all of us.
I have a Colin-Vera deck for Masha. I need an excuse to use all my decks,
Yeah. I was just saying, I don't think you heard me because you're taking your earphones out, but I was like, Justin's got a different deck for everyone.
I don't know. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need a different deck, But the new choice is great for relationship type readings because they're all very sexual type being. You know what I mean? Like all the court cards are very sexy kind of figures, and it just works really well for relationship readings. I feel like.
Yeah.
People also like looking at them too. I mean, they're really attractive cards.
Yeah.
I'm excited for his new deck. I can't wait till that comes out. The new voice.
Yeah, that's the kind of RWS kind of more style one.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be really nice. Okay, I can start if you want. So Masha, I've pulled 3 cards for the situation. I'm going to kind of move you off the screen just so you can see me. For the situation, because everyone should see my beautiful face. No, I'm only kidding. We've got the 6 of Cups for the situation. Okay. 6 of Cups is looking back. It's memories. Cups is connecting on an emotional level. So my guess is that you're looking at moving back to your old place because of maybe it holds a certain emotional value for you. You've got memories there that kind of, that put a smile on your face and make you feel warm and fuzzy in your heart. All right. And that's kind of you're thinking that's the process that you're going through. For your advice, you've got the Emperor coming in there. I'm never going to be able to get it right what way I'm moving the card. You've got the Emperor. Okay. Now, the Emperor's obviously kind of bringing in that, that order, kind of. He's almost reminding you, almost kind of what the King of Blades was saying in Robin's reading. By all means, that the kind of emotional processes and feeling passionate about it, that's all important, but don't dismiss the kind of the kind of pros and cons, making pros and cons list, looking at everything logically, looking at your financial situation and all the kind of different aspects, and making sure that moving back to your bigger property is going to work for in all the different areas of your life. Don't let one thing go to shit just so's that, don't let your finances go to shit just so's that, you're back where you want to be and you're feeling all happy and giddy, just make sure that you're kind of going through that important intellectual, logical process, and that you're planning everything. And the Emperor is all about our stability. He's like the King of Kings. He sees the bigger picture. He protects and maintains the balance and the stability and the security of his kingdom. Okay. So those are things you're going to be wanting to be looking at. For the kind of looking towards whether you want to look at this as a future card or like kind of the direction that it's going in, we've got the Ace of Wands. So I do see change. You know, I see potential for change. It's certainly something you're going to have to work at, but it's going to be a change. It's going to, you know, one's purpose, passion, you know, you're going to have that kind of passionate feel about you. Um, like I say, it needs worked at because the ace is just the potential. All right. You've still got all the way through 10 before you come full journey and you can fully realize whatever that potential is. But there's definitely potential for you to achieve something new and to make a success out of you know, out of if you are choosing to move back.
Could you just post a question back up again, too, Chris?
Sure.
Is it okay? Back to my little city apartment. Masha, I feel like you'd like it where you're at. I don't know. So I got, these are sort of tough cards, and you feel free to help me here. But so I got the 8 of Swords, okay? I have the 9 of Swords, and then I have the Sun reverse, which is odd because I don't reverse cards, but sometimes they happen. And I just didn't want to change it. I almost did turn around. I was like, no, it's supposed to be reversed. So I don't know. The sun reverse is sort of it's an indication that obviously it's not, to me, that's not a good way to see the sun. But I feel like, you know, I see in the 9 of Swords, like sort of you're feeling sort of secure and you know, really built in, like, you know, sort of in your current place. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but then I have the 8, which is like, I feel like that's like, you know, maybe this is something you will have to discuss with your partner, because it's like, you know, 8 is like that codependent sort of stability. You know, you have the stability of the this is something you're going to have to work out with him. You know, you have like 4, and then 4 is like, it's like 2 stable structures sort of collaborating. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see the number 8. But I feel like you personally are maybe, you know, comfortable where you're at now, you know, but and the move may, you know, cause some issues. You know what I mean, with the sun. You know, might affect your happiness. You know, maybe you like being downtown, you like being in the city, you like being close to the action. You know what I mean? And your larger property might be off the beaten path a little bit, you know, and you might not enjoy it as much because you're a very social person. You have your, you know, all of your activities that you do and everything. And, you know, maybe being downtown is a more suitable place. But I don't know. I feel like this card just very intuitively just tells me that you're comfortable where you're at. I don't know why. It's just like you see that sword, it's like planet firm. In between that, you know, you have, it just sort of seems to be working and very stable where you're at with the 9 of Swords. And you know, the 8 is something you'll have to discuss with your, you know, maybe you have to work it out, you know, with your partner. So that's pretty much, that's it.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to do readings with Marseille versus RWS. You know, it's a different style. Like with the 8 of Swords and the 9 of Swords in the RWS, it's a totally different reading. You know what I mean? Because those interpretations. But with Marseille, I tend to just look at the numerology and then the elements. I don't necessarily read 8 and 9 of Swords as a negative thing in Marseille. I kind of, you know, it just means like, for me, the swords are just like sort of the communication element of it, or the air element. But I can, you know, interpret the numerology however it fits. You know what I mean? And that's what's cool about Marseille as opposed to RWS. If you see the 9 of Swords, you know, it's like sleepless nights and all this other stuff. It's like it's just different. It's a little more liberating.
Definitely. I think like you definitely get for me anyway. If it's Marseille, even from RWS style decks, but more Marseille, I definitely kind of pull on that kind of high mental energy from a 9 of Swords, you know. Not always necessarily a negative thing, which it can kind of be in RWS. But it's that idea of the high mental energy, and sometimes that's, you know, sometimes you can really ride that wave and you can get stuff done when you've got that high mental energy, but sometimes you get in your own head and that high mental energy really needs to be brought down about 5 pegs. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
How do you read the sun reverse though? That's an interesting card. It's like, is that unhappiness? Is that like, because a lot of times I look at the sun as like, I look at the sun as obviously enjoying like the present moment and having a good time, but I also look at it as like something shedding light on something to be revealed, like,
Yeah.
you know, very masculine kind of energy. But
Yeah.
it's tricky. It's a tricky reversal to read, you know?
Yeah,
I'm still getting comfortable with reversals, by the way, because I don't read them all the time. It's very
no, I
intuitive.
totally get it. Yeah, I'm the same as you. For me, reversals are. Sorry, I'm going to. Sometimes it can, it can mean it can make the meaning the complete opposite. But for me, a lot of the time, it's like, it still holds the meaning, but it's telling you that you're blocked there,
Yeah.
especially in the majors, right? So for me, the sun
Yes.
reversed, it's telling you, you're in that happy phase. Everything's, sunshine and rainbows and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the next step from the sun is judgment, and judgment is where we deal with our shit. That is
Yeah.
when we address all of the stuff in our past that you're holding on to in the sun phase. Yeah, you're happy when you're in the sun phase, and you're focusing on the positive things in life, but you've still got on the back of your mind, you've still got those negatives. You've still got the stuff that you're ashamed of, or you're not quite ready to deal with. And judgment is where we deal with that. It's like the snake shedding its skin. You leave the past behind and you go into that world card, and that is when you're fully realized.
True.
So for me, the sun being reversed says that you're in that happy phase, but you're refusing to move on from it. It's almost like it's become stagnant.
Yeah.
For me, if the sun comes up reverse, for me that's a message, right? You've had your kind of your happy time. Now it's time to start thinking about dealing with some of these shadows, some of these things that you're holding on to that you really need to kind of address and move on from. So that's the sun reverse for me. But I know that some people might just completely reverse the meaning of the sun. So happiness turns to unhappiness, joy turns to,
Well, I would just say blocked. I would say in that situation, I felt that the happiness that was blocked, but it is tough. It's tough, especially because like when I see the sun, sometimes I feel like the sun is also not just happiness or enjoyment, but it also is about like discovery, like shedding light on the unknown kind of thing, like bringing light to darkness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just something I don't know where I picked that up from, but somewhere. But it's just something that comes usually. But if you think about it, blocked, like if the energy's blocked, it's almost it's different than being the opposite. But it's in certain situation it could be the same as like the blocked energy is same as unhappiness, but not always. Like in other words, you're blocking. The move maybe in that context could be blocking her happiness and well-being. You know what I mean? Like sort of putting a block there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we got another question,
We'll
right?
get one more, I think. I've had a quick
back?
scroll through there, and I can't see any more questions, which is cool because we're now hitting 2 hours. So after this question is probably a good time for us to call it a day.
We got Michelle here. Let's do Michelle, and then we'll call it a day.
If there are any more questions that I've missed, though, then please, let me know. Highlight it to me, because I don't want to have missed anyone or skipped by anyone. So, do let me know if I've missed anything. But yeah, so we've got Michelle. What is holding me back from moving interstate to be with my friends and family? And there's Michelle's kind of it's quite a while ago, so there's that Michelle posted that. So she says, I was always such a wandering soul when I was younger, could never settle down. Now I just feel stuck. So yeah, what is holding you back? Why are you feeling stuck? So let's pull some cards and see if we can maybe spark some answers or give you some food for thought.
Well, I had a jumper. I'm going to use the jumper. Here's the 4 of coin. I feel like it's answered partially. I'm just going to throw it in there because it was a jumper. Okay, I'll go. I'm just going to completely wing it here. So I have 4 cards. I have these 3 here. So I have the Hermit, the Ace of Cups, and I have the 6 of Wand. And then the jumper was the 4 of coin, which jumped down. I was initially going to, but I was like, no, I think that means something. I just have the feeling it means something here. So the first card is the Hermit. I think, maybe you need to put a little more thought into it. You need to reflect the situation more. Is it really what you want to do? Do you want to move? Do you want to move to be with your family? Is it something, maybe it's something you need to do to put more thought into it? The Ace of Cups, I feel like, is like, maybe there's obviously some sort of maybe a relationship that is holding you, or somebody you love, care about presently, maybe in a romantic sense or otherwise, maybe friends, could be friends, could be, and this is the center card, so I feel like it's, possibly, maybe your heart is just not home with the interstate. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something keeping you there. Is it your job? Is it your relationship with someone? What is it about that Ace of Cups that is keeping you, where you're at? 6 of Wands, it's kind of a tough one for me. It's like sort of finding maybe some sort of spiritual harmony. I'm just trying to think of, this is also in the future position. So it's, maybe you need to figure those things out, going back to the Hermit, reflecting on what it is you really want, and taking some time with yourself to figure those things out, and maybe that's when you finally work it out. But I think the jumper here was, I feel like maybe there's some money concerns too, or like practical reasons that are keeping you, where you're at, whether it's a job that's keeping you there, so like sort of, the stability, the earthly stability, from the 4 of coin, it could be keeping you attached to that area. And so it's like more like, in other words, it's out of practical necessity. That's the 4. 4 is a very practical number, right? It's like, it's out of practical necessity that you are where you're at. But maybe that Ace of Cups is, about, maybe it's practical, but your heart is someplace else. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I think the key component of this is the Hermit, which is a reflection, which is to really think about what it is you want, and you have to be true to yourself. I mean, I think that's the only really piece of advice here. So I hope that's helpful.
Okay. Right, these are the cards that I've pulled. I've got the Ace of Wands, I've got Temperance, and I've got the Hanged Man. Okay. I'll try and hold these up as I'm talking about them. But the question that immediately comes to my mind, when you put yourself into the dynamic where there's other people you've got to think about, there's always the chance that you're going to have to deal with their shit. What I feel myself wanting to ask you, Michelle, in the past, is there been, when you have previously maybe kind of lived closer to or with family, friends, has there been conflict? Has there been situations where you've either been in conflict with someone, or you felt as though you were in the middle, piggy in the middle? Is there maybe a subconscious, are you subconsciously kind of holding yourself back and protecting yourself from that? So there's a possible answer. It might be that actually you're feeling more comfortable just kind of being quite happy in your current situation, in your current world. All right. Now you've got the Ace of Wands coming up. That's telling me that there's potential there. There's something there. It might be that you're not actually seeing it, you know? It might be that it's just not in your sphere of consciousness, you know, it's just outside you and you're not quite picking up. But there's definitely potential there. I don't, be open to the possibility that you don't moving back to be with these people, moving closer to these people isn't your only option. That's not the only thing that's going to unstick you. All right. There's other ways to, to get inspired and to find your purpose in life. You've definitely got that. I mean, the Ace of Wands is the potential for purpose. It's the potential to have that thing that, like I was saying earlier on, it's that thing that really kind of makes you feel that this is my thing. This is my thing that gives me purpose. It makes me unique, and it makes me me, kind of thing. Um, that potential is definitely around about you. Okay. I really see you in this Hanged Man. It's funny because initially I looked at this and I thought, well, that's you in the pink t-shirt, and the Ace of Wands. I'm trying to point to it and I'm just hopeless. And then all of a sudden in the next card you're still in a pink t-shirt, but you're scowling at this other person over here. There's something that you're not happy about, and that's why I'm asking about conflict. But then I questioned, right, well, hang on, are you potentially the kind of person that's in the middle, and is this potentially like family members that you've got that you feel as though, you're almost having to act as the kind of temperance for them. You're having to kind of instill the balance. And then it moves on to this card, and you've all of a sudden you've changed out your pink t-shirt. You're wearing leather. You're wearing knee-high boots. You've cut your hair and you're swinging about on a pole in the street. I could probably have worded that a bit better. I do apologise, Michelle. But all of a sudden it's a complete and utter shift in dynamic. What I'm saying to you is that potential is there. It doesn't necessarily need to end up with you, how you're planning right now, being back closer to friends, family, or whatever it is. Okay. And it could potentially be the thing that's holding you back from doing that is some sort of avoidance of conflict, So, yeah. But as the last card being the Hanged Man, there's definitely a change coming up. The Hanged Man is all about that change in perspective, and it's not just about taking a change of perspective, but taking a change of perspective with purpose, in order to be more enlightened and move on. So I've just seen your message. It's just popped up. It's not popped up on Street yet, so I can't highlight it. But Michelle says, my brother committed suicide 3 years ago, and now it's just my parents and me left stuck in the middle of them. My parents argue a lot, and I've spent the last few years holding myself back from people. Okay. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
It's heartbreaking to hear when people go through that, especially lovely people. I'm not even going to say especially lovely people like yourself, like anyone. It breaks my heart to hear that anyone's had to go through something like that. It's something that just no one should have to, dread. And yeah, I mean, that would leave anyone feeling conflicted, and unsure about what to do. So yeah, there's a path there for you. All right, and don't feel as though you're in any hurry to find it. Work through things at your own pace. Make sure if you need help, then you get the help that you need. Yeah, just
suicides are really hard on people, man. It's really hard on people, and like when parents lose a child, it's very hard on them too. So it creates a lot of stress for people, and that's probably. I mean, that's true for anybody, and it's really unfortunate. But I wish you well, Michelle, in the situation.
Yeah. You know, we're all here for you. This is Michelle. This is I'm not sure if you've been in this community for a long, long time, or if you've just kind of joined us recently. But this community of people that you're in right now, they are absolutely like first class, amazing people. We're all here for you. All right. You know, it's lovely to see you here right now, and it's always lovely to see when you know when people pop in and chat to us in the live. So come in, chat to us if you need us for anything, then reach out. We're here to help. But yeah, I'm just really sorry to hear that.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Okay. So Michelle had said she saved up about $30,000 in money, but she still keeps telling herself that she's not getting enough. It's like almost as though she feels she's making excuses for herself. So there's you know, that's a subconscious
Does she work
process
where
that
she
you're going
lives,
through.
or what is keeping her in the other place though? Is it
I'm
like
not
are
sure.
you working there, or is that why you're there, or is it something that is you choose to live there because you enjoy it? Just wonder.
Just waiting to see if she. I feel the hermit is reversed in this case. It's showing I'm locking myself away. Yeah, I work, but just a shit kicker job, nothing important.
Okay.
Okay. So you've at least not got that
Yeah.
tying you down. You know, you don't have anything extra tying you down when you know you're kind of tying yourself down. So that's something at least.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, like I say, we're all here for you. So
Yes.
just let us know if you need anything. So, guys, I think we'll, as I say, I think we'll call it a night there. Justin, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
so
Of
much
course.
for being on with me. Thank you for
Anytime.
helping me. You know, it was really invaluable to have you here when we were, you know, when we were going through the bi visibility stuff. It was really good just to have someone else here to chat and to bounce off of.
Yes.
So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on with me for that.
It was my pleasure.
Um,
I enjoyed it.
and I've thoroughly
Anytime.
enjoyed reading cards with you as well. Card
It was
slinging with
fun.
you.
Absolutely.
So
Do it again soon.
excellent, we shall indeed. So everyone in the chat, thank you so much for being here. You know, it's especially everyone. I know there's some people that have stuck here for pretty much for the entire 2 hours.
Oh, wait,
So
2 hours. Wow, that's a
2 hours
long time.
and 13 minutes we've been going
Oh,
for. So
bedtime.
yeah, it's a lot longer than what I had
I still have
intended.
to make
So
dinner, actually.
oh gosh, right, I better let you go get your tea, otherwise you're going to turn into Henry Justin.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever time it is where you are. And have an amazing weekend. Just quickly before I sign off, I'm going live with Jilly at Little's End Crone on Saturday.
Nice.
So that's at 8 p.m. my time. So that's going to be 3 your time, 3 Eastern Standard Time. So 8 p.m. British, 3 p.m. Eastern. So I'll let you guys do the math to work out what that is where you are. Gilly and I have actually kind of put together a wee spread that's all about how to be, you know, I'm looking at yourself and thinking how can I be a good ally, and you can use it for ally or accomplice, you know, whatever word you want to use. But you can use it for, you know, the rainbow community. You can use it for, you know, how we can support people of color and everything that's going on, the Black Lives Matter movement. You can even just use it to look at how you personally can be maybe like a better friend or something. So yeah, we're going to look at that, and obviously there will be wine and there will be taro involved, and there will be munchies too, yummies. So please do join
Nice.
us if you can.
When is this now?
What?
Well,
What'd you say?
when? I'm sorry. When are you
Saturday.
guys doing this? Oh, Saturday.
This Saturday coming at 8 p.m. my time, 3 p.m.
Okay.
your time.
Alrighty.
So yeah, if you're free, then pop in and say hi. Right, guys. With that, I shall love you and leave yous. Thank you so much, and see you all soon. Justin, you stay on because I'll say bye to you in a minute.
Okay. Very good.
Right.
Bye,
Bye everyone.
everyone. Love and peace.